The topic of this webinar today is the new assessment feature. So we'll see the new possibilities that we have at the ChallengeMe to allow students to assess each other's. Just a reminder, we organize webinar every Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. and in French and 2 p.m. in English. This webinar will last 30 minutes and will be recorded. And if you have a question, you will be able to ask me at the end. Just a quick introduction regarding ChallengeMe for those who don't know us. We are a peer assessment platform. It means that we provide an environment allowing the student to assess each other and to give to each other's feedback. We really focus on support. So the idea is to help you to set up your activities and to answer your questions regarding the technical questions or the pedagogical question on how you can integrate the peer review in your course. We exist since 2015 and we work with business schools, engineering schools, and universities, mainly in France, but we also work with schools from Switzerland, Canada, Belgium as well. And we are fully integrated to the main learning management system of the market, like Moodle with the LTI standard, but also Blackboard, Brightspace, Chamilo, and others. Before explaining you how you can use the new assessment features, just a quick reminder regarding what is the challenge to understand where you will be able to add the new assessment method. So in a challenge, what we call a challenge is a peer review activity, and in a challenge, you can add different kind of phases. And here you can see the five type of phases that we have. And we will be able to add assessment criteria in the three kind of phases. So the rock assessment phase, the evaluation of group members phase, and the feedback evaluation phase. And with these phases, we will be able to create different kind of activities. So we can add the phases one after one, or we can add them in parallel, depending the kind of activity we want to launch. So in the first example, we ask the student to assess their teammates, and then they can see their results. In the example number 2, we ask them to submit a work to the platform. Then we ask them to assess the work of others, and then they can access their results. And in example number 3, just to let you see that you can really customize your challenge. So you can start with the first submission phase, then you can ask them to assess the work of others, and in the meantime, assess their teammates with whom they have collaborated on behavioral criteria like communication within the group, initiative taking, critical thinking, etc. You can add a second submission phase to ask the student to improve their work, and this improved work can be assessed by teachers, for example, and then they can access their result and assess the different feedback they receive. So just to let you know and to make a quick reminder of how ChallengeMe works. So now we can see the new assessment method. So the subject of this webinar. So until now, it was possible to add a criterion, and this criteria has been possible to assess them from 1 to 10 stars, and now it will be possible to modify the number of stars. So here we can see that we have 4 stars for the criterion clarity of presentations. And by clicking on the information button, it's still possible to see the description of this criterion to understand how to assess this criterion to help the students to understand how to use this criterion. So the 1 to 10 stars is now editable to change the number of stars. We have now the possibility to let the student to give a certain amount of points. So you can define the max point for a criterion. and the students will be able to define the number of points he wants. And we have the predefined options. So this is a method. I think it will be really useful for students because rather than giving points to a work, the students have to just select the descriptions the most appropriate to assess to assess the work of others or their teammates. So they just have to select one option, and each option is linked to a certain amount of points. So I will show you how you can define it after. So this is a new way of assess for the students, and I think it can reduce also the overgrade BA and the undergrade BA as well, because they just have to select the best description. You can also use the predefined options to use it as a Likert scale. So you can ask, for example, the presentation is clear and well structured, and you can let the students indicate if he's agree, strongly disagree, or totally agree. So you can use it like that as well. You have the drop-down list, so it's the main principle, the same principle, except that the form is a bit different because rather than having all the options displayed, you have to click and you have a drop-down list where you can select the description the most appropriate. It can be useful when you have a lot of options available, and to avoid to have a long list displayed by default, you can just select the drop-down list so that the student will have to click on the drop-down list to see all the options available. You have the checkbox, so you can indicate different sentence, and the students can check the sentence that he think it will be correct to check. So if the criterion is checked, it will be linked to a certain amount of point, and if it's not checked, no point will be allocated to this criterion. So you can define it like that. And you can also add criterion without a score. So the student just have to give feedback, textual feedback. So it can be interesting when you want to create an activity to the student just to exchange feedback and not to assess each other's. So you can now add different feedback criterion to let the students complete how they find the work they have to assess, what are the strengths, what are the areas for improvement, and you can define as many fields as you want. So now I can show you how it works directly in the platform. So I will switch my screen to a Moodle environment, but if you use Blackboard or Brightspace, it's the same principle. You have a course and you have a challenge activity in this course, and you can use it. So we'll show you in a Moodle environment. Okay, so normally you should see my screen. So I'm logged in as with the student, right? So for now, I will show you what it looks like in the student side, and then I will show you how you can create this new assessment criterion in the teacher side. So I click on the challenge activity, and I'm redirected to this interface. So this is the challenge. So I have a first submission phase and two assessment phase here. So I can go to the assessment phase to show you the new assessment criterion. So here I have the scale from 1 to 10 stars. So the modality of assessment we have since the beginning. So you can still use it. So the student just have to select the number of stars you want, following the descriptions accessible by clicking on the information button. You have the same, but we have changed the number of stars. So here you have only 4 stars if you prefer. you have the number of points to give. So here I can give a maximum of 10 points. I can give 7, for example. Here I have the drop-down list, so I can select the most appropriate description here. I have the predefined options, but in what we call the radio buttons. So you can select the best option just here. So you can display it from the lowest grade to the best grade, and you can display it randomly if you want students to be forced to read the description to select it. So you can choose if you want to display it in order or randomly. So here it's the Likert scale, so you can choose if you agree with the statement or if you totally agree or not agree at all. You have the checkbox just here. And here, this is the feedback only. So here I have a question. What did you think of the clarity of the presentation? So I can answer it directly here. And I can also give my overall feedback just here. So just to show you what it looks like in the student side, I have another example. So you can mix all the assessment methods, but you can also use only one if you prefer. So here I had an example with an entrepreneurship exercise, and I have different criteria here. And as a student, I can select the best descriptions, and with this by this way, it will generate a score at the end because each description is linked to an amount of points. So it can be interesting for students when they are scared to assess the work of others. With this modality of assessment, they don't have the impression to assess because they don't give points. They just select a description regarding a work. And you can also ask them to give a feedback here. This is for the student side. So now I can show you how you can create this modality of assessment in the teacher side. So I will log in with a teacher, right? Okay, so just a reminder, to add a ChallengeMe activity, you can switch to edit mode just here. You can click on add an activity or resource in Moodle, of course, and you can select ChallengeMe when it's integrated to ChallengeMe. So I will name my activity, so peer review, and I will click on save and display. Then I can click on open a new window. And here I can choose the way I want to create my challenge. So I can choose the accompanied mode to have a simplified form, but with not all the features, but the main feature, and it will allow you to create a challenge and to have a validation in our side to generate your challenge. And you can choose the direct mode. So here you can access all the features available, and you can create your challenge with alone. So you don't need to have our validation to create your challenge. You can create it by your own. But of course, if you need to have a validation, you can ask us and we can check your challenge if you need us to do it. So I will use this mode to show you. So you click on direct mode. Here I can choose, I will just choose a template. So the assessment of rock template is this one, the first one. And here I will go to the phase settings tab, and I will be able to add assessment criteria by selecting the assessment phase. So I selected this one. So I can click on it and go to the evaluation criteria tab just here. Here I can still select predefined criteria, but in our database, we have for now only the criterion with the 1 to 10 stars. We will soon add the new modality of assessment, but for now we only have the historic one. So I will just select one to have an example. So for example, I will select consistency of content, for example. So here I can see that the score configuration is set up to be at stars. So I can modify the number of stars just here. So if I want the criteria to be rated from 1 to 5, I can indicate 5 here. I can also, so it was for the stars, I can choose a number. So here, if I create the same criterion but with a number, I can define the maximum score that I want. I want the student to give for this criterion. I can also add a description here. I will create a new one with the predefined option. So here, for example, so this is the drop-down list. So I click on it. And here I will be able to add different options by clicking on this button. So for example, if I want 4 options, I will add four fields here. And I will be able to add a label for each of the options. So here I can choose the description I have in the ChallengeMe database, for example. So I will copy paste. And I can add, when it's done, I can link for each description a score. So for example, if I want the first description to be linked to 1 point, I can add 1. For the second, 5, for example, the third 8, and the last one 10. So when the student will select one of these description, it will be linked to a certain amount of points. By this way, we'll be able to generate a grade at the end. So as I said, you can order these options by score, or you can also choose to display them randomly. So you can choose the option just here. You can also choose the predefined option, but in radio buttons. So it will be the same principle. You add different options just here, and you add the description for each option. So here I choose 4 options, but you can add as many as you want. So you can choose the number of options you want to add. Just just to show you that you can use it as a Likert scale. So here you just have to add description like that. So strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and totally agree, for example. You can add emoji to allow the student to assess by clicking on emoji if you want. So it will allow you to create the different way to assess. So you can. I think it will be really useful for you to create an effective peer review activity. And here you can add the score as well. So, for example, like that. Yeah. And we have also the checkbox. So here you will define, so for example, it was consistency of content. So the content is consistent. And you will say, okay, if the checkbox is checked, it will be 10 points. And if it's unchecked, it will be 0. So you can set it up like that. And the last one, which is the no score, it means that it will be only a feedback, and you won't ask a student to give a score. You can ask an open question, for example. So you can indicate what you want. So do you think that the content is consistent? For example, this is not an open question, but just to indicate that you can add the question you want. So we saw the different way to add the new modality of assessment. So just to remind you, you can choose from the predefined criterion, or you can add criteria from scratch. And once it's done, you can select just here the criteria score configuration, and then add the amount of points to each modality. Um, so I think I show you everything. I'm just thinking, but I think it's okay. In the next webinar, we will explain you how you can generate a grade. So it will be just to show you quickly in the result display phase. So here you will be able to indicate if you want a score. So in the scoring tab, out of 10, 20, 50, 100, and you will be able to leverage the grade depending, and to add the coefficient depending the phases, depending the criterion. So if you want to weight criteria more than others, you will be able to do it by selecting the criteria here. So my criteria are most of my criteria are have the same name, but you can choose the criteria you want and add a coefficient, and you will be able to create your grade like that by adding coefficient to each criterion. By default, if you don't do it, all the criterion will have the same weight. So you can let it empty, and by this way it will have the same weight. But if you want to customize your grade and to add weight to certain criteria, you will be able to do it like that. And regarding the phase, you will be able to, for example, if you have two assessment phase, one for the students and one for the teachers, and you want the teachers to have a weight of 70%, for example, you will be able to select the assessment of work by teachers and to add a coefficient of 7, for example, and select the assessment of work by students and add a coefficient of 3 to have this ponderation. So just to show you, because it's linked to the different things that we saw today, to understand how you will be able to generate a grade. So I'm done with this presentation. If you have a question now, you can activate your microphone and you can ask me directly if you want to see again some element, or if you have any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask this criteria of the grade. You said, if I got it correctly, it's going to be the new webinar, right?
Regarding the overgrade, in the past we saw that when the students can rate from 1 to 10 stars, of course they have the description to understand how they can rate the criterion, but they can select, because they have to give a certain amount of points. Some of them can overgrade their teammates, and we think that with the new assessment, the predefined option modality, it will be much more easier for the student to assess, because they don't have to give a point; they just have to select a description, an appropriate description regarding the work they have to assess. So this is why I explained that I think this way to assess can generate a relevant grade, because it will be based, it will reduce the subjective appreciation of the students. It will be a much more an objective assessment. So if we see in the student side, I think it will be much more easier for the student to complete, to select an option here rather than indicate a number of points. So it depends the students you have in front of you. If it's a first peer review activity, I would recommend to use this way to assess because it will be easier for the students.
And last one question, and if we use this, is this the grade automatically generated based on their evaluations here, or again they can click the stars and choose the stars?
No, it will. So the students will will select the different description and validate. So here we'll do it. And then once it's done, the final grade will be based on the if students have been rated by three students, it will be the average of the three students, and it will be leverage regarding the coefficient you add for each criterion.
Okay, merci.
Thank you.
Hello, Jean. Well, my question was going to be, can we customize the questions, have our own rubric? Because I'd be testing English level, and that you answered the question. So we could say, for example, good pronunciation, good vocabulary, etc., rather than use the predefined questions.
Yeah, just by filling the different, different level here. Yeah.
Okay, and I've got another question. What we do here manually is the fact that we have the students give a presentation and the class scores it and the teacher scores it, but the class don't see the teacher's score.
Yeah.
And then the students get a bonus point if they give the same score as the teacher, which means that we are ensuring that they're using the criteria and not just overscoring or underscoring according to personality. Is there an option for that here? Is there something you could do? Is it something to discuss next week, perhaps?
If I understand your use case, you want the students to, so you have an assessment from the students and from the teacher, and if the assessment from the student is the same as the teacher, they have a bonus. So I'm thinking if it's possible, I'm not sure. No, I think because you can add a penalty for the late submission and the no participation, but you can't add a bonus for this for this use case. You can, if you want to do it, you can use the Excel file, because in the Excel file you will have the column regarding the score of the teacher and the score of the student, and you will be able to see to create a formula to indicate if it's the same to see the students who have the same score as the teacher. So it will be in the Excel file directly, but not in the platform. But this is an interesting way to do. So yeah, it's I will speak about it with the team, because I think it's
it's great. They're really engaged, because they say, okay, no, the teacher won't like this because they didn't do X, Y, Z. So rather than, oh, it's my friend, I'll give them a good score.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I see. It's interesting. I will keep it in mind with our next discussions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, do you have any questions? Or if not, you will be able to ask me by replying to the email I will send you with a replay of this webinar. So no worries if you don't have now. Okay, so thank you, everyone. I wish you a good afternoon, and I hope you will enjoy this new modality of assessment. Have a nice day. Bye.
Have a nice day.